Hello and welcome to the Complete Lakers podcast. I'm Anthony Wilson, recording from Los Angeles, California. Hopefully, Monday night, uh, I'll record with the guys again. But for right now, I just wanted to check in, uh, talk some more Lakers. Um, man, the vibes are incredible right now. The way the Lakers are playing. Um, that Miami game in particular, man, was just. I feel like it was just unforgettable. Just something about when the Heat wear their Miami Nights jerseys and they have the court that matches it. There's something about the arena that just kind of feels like an old danky, like old school uh, gym, an old school NBA arena. Um, just looks kind of musky in there and kind of um, I don't know. It just felt kind of vintage watching it. Like something maybe from the '90s or something like that. You know, watching Luka get 60, watching Bron get the triple double, um, and yeah, the Lakers just they're playing great basketball right now. Um, Luka, obviously being a Laker, the comparisons are being made to Kobe. But really, I mean, it's like Luka's playing like I can't remember a time when Kobe was playing like this during the regular season, um, on a team that was as good as this Lakers team. So normally, when Kobe was, putting up his big numbers, scoring and stuff like that, that was when the Lakers were like those couple of years in '06 and '07 where they were, a 7, 8 seed, right? What Luka's doing on a team that's playing better than anybody in basketball right now, um, it really reminds me more of like Michael Jordan. You know, even in the playoffs, like in 2009 and 2010 and 2008, um, that was kind of similar. What Kobe was doing then to what Luka's doing now, because you're on especially 2008. Probably 2010. That was the hell of 2009 and 2010. Really, all three of those years through the West playoffs, Kobe was just playing basically Jordan level, or right below it. Uh, 2000 and seriously, yeah, I guess the Lakers never really had. I have to, 2008 was probably the easiest run that they had through the West. 2009 they had to deal with Houston. They went 7 with Houston in the first round. They also had to go 6. Denver series was tough in the conference finals. And then 2010, the Sun series. But I guess the way that the Lakers are playing right now, it'll be closest. Again, I'm making like a cross, making a comparison between regular season and playoffs. But yeah, 2008, that was a hell of a run through the West, and Kobe played so well, and I guess that would be the closest thing as far as I've seen the Lakers to what Luka's doing right now. But um, I guess what has to be done. I mean, it's just the way that he's playing. With these high, super high, he's having 41 points a game over the winning streak. Um, and the chemistry and the vibes is just everything is just clicking, and it kind of reminds me of like how the Bulls, where you have this one transcendent player who you can count on to, Jordan would probably have a 45 or 50 point game every series in the playoffs on average when they were winning those championships, and the way Luka's playing right now. Uh, Once again, it really makes no sense because I'm comparing regular season to playoffs. But it's just, like I said, just the way that everything is clicking and to have one player playing so above and beyond, while the other pieces just fit in place so perfectly. Uh, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of to compare it to. I don't think I've ever seen a Lakers team with this kind of chemistry like this, as far as just the vibes being so fun. Now, obviously, I didn't get to watch Showtime when I was coming up. When we had Shaq and Kobe, that was more of a veteran team. You know, although Shaq was a big goofball as the leader, uh, but you had a bunch of veteran guys around him, and Kobe being young and serious. Um, I would say that the teams with Kobe and Gasol were more lighthearted because you're talking Gasol, you're talking Odom, you're talking Sasha, and you're talking guys who really are not. These are super laid back, kind of easygoing guys. Um, and even though Kobe, of course, was very serious, but I think that's the difference. That Luka has a Shaq like personality, and then there's really no guys on the team who are like, pretty much everyone on the team is like I said, a pretty laid back type of guy. You saw when Luka was going for the 60 piece, everybody was up and celebrating and stuff like that. Like I said, man, it's just that it's just amazing. It's like even if they don't, even if this is as good as it gets, right? They get bounced at some point in the playoffs. It's like it will have been worth it, just to watch this team play like this, and just how good it feels to watch. Um, I want to update my MVP rankings. But before I do that, a couple more things. So, somebody pointed out on Twitter, this guy Floss NY. He said Luka not even being at 35 points a game shows how crazy Kobe's 2006 season was. And that's a good point. Like Luka's averaging 33.5 right now, and Kobe averaged 35.4 in 2006. Um, and it really does just kind of highlight just how it's like with everything Luka has done, it's kind of crazy to think that Kobe he's still a full 2 points behind what Kobe averaged in 2006 with not nearly as much. Kobe took more shots, but it wasn't. But he didn't take nearly as many threes. But it wasn't the type of pace that guys play today. You know. And then I also wanted to point out something that so when the Lakers beat Houston the first time, uh, I thought that Lakers beat Houston the first time. I was thinking, they should just sit some guys a second time, let Houston have that one, and they didn't. And then the very next night in Miami, I'm thinking, okay, well, they should definitely sit guys did, and they still did. So it's like this Lakers team right now is so hot, and they're just chasing greatness and just taking on all comers. They're not taking any nights off. They're trying to win every single night, no matter who they're against, who they're playing against. And I just think it's been something to behold. Now, other thing I wanted to say is that uh, in the it's good as things feel right now. I'm listening to Rob Parker. Rob Parker, of course, is just his whole shtick is just going against the grain, right? But I was listening to him on The Odd Couple, and he was saying that how in the playoffs, teams will hunt Luka, as as we saw last year, where pretty much everybody that whoever Luka was on, uh, Minnesota just give the ball to him, and that guy would just attack Luka. So during the regular season, it's different. You'll see teams. In the regular season, you'll see teams. Uh, you know, they're not deploying their most tactile game plan during the regular season. You know, But in the playoffs, when you have a specific matchup against a team for 7 games, and you go, okay, well, this is the game plan we have. You make the adjustments and things like that. So, uh, yeah, that is something to look out for. But like as of right now, it feels good. Uh, and I also wanted to update my MVP rankings. Um, so right now I have Shea number one. I feel like if he hits the threshold, which it appears he will, there's 12 games left, and he already has. He's I think it's 65 games. I think he's played. I think he can miss 5 more games and still hit that mark. So there's no reason he shouldn't. He's already been back for a couple weeks. Then Kate Cunningham, who has a collapsed lung and will miss an extended period of time. Now, if he doesn't hit that mark, I still have him second, right? But if he doesn't hit that mark, then he won't even be eligible. Uh, I have Jaylen Brown third, and I have Luka fourth. I have Wemby fifth. Some people have Wemby higher than that. I don't. And then I have Jokic down at sixth, right? So yeah, that's my MVP ladder. And it's possible if Kate doesn't hit the number of games, uh, to make him eligible, that Luka could finish top three or even top two. People don't really respect Jalen enough, you know. Like I said, Wemby is going to be in the mix too. I don't think Joker at this point should be a top three MVP finalist. So you're looking at the top three. Probably. I think he has the second best odds now after Shea. Luka does. So he's probably looking at the top three finish rate in MVP for Luka. Um, yeah. Okay. So I want to say something about Kevin Durant because and I've talked about Durant a lot in the past. Obviously, he's a great player. He's one of the top 20 players probably to ever play, right? And he's 37 years old, so you got to cut him some slack. But the thing about it is that there's no point in Kevin Durant's career where he was ever a bus driver. He's always been a bus rider, you know. So at the end of the day, it's like he's 37 years old and he doesn't know how to beat, a trap. He doesn't know how to beat a double team up at the top of the out beyond the 3-point line. You know, you're supposed to give the ball up. You go reposition yourself, you get it back, and then you go on the attack. But it's just like the same thing as Ant Edwards. Edwards is like 13 years younger than Kevin Durant. Mike Jordan said that a Minnesota executive reached out to him and asked him if he could talk to Ant and give him advice on how to beat the double team. And it's like Kevin Durant still needs that advice, but that just goes to kind of show the difference. Like Mike Jordan, Kobe, Allen Iverson, Luka, these are apex predators. So meaning you can't you can't beat them with a simple double team. They're gonna figure out how to score, And I think that's why Kevin Durant in his career, that's the reason that the only time he ever won championships is when he went to somebody else's team, when he went to Curry's team in Golden State, where the system and the machine was so well oiled that all he had to do is go slide right in there, and then it was just, it was automatic, right? But yeah, that's the thing when people talk about efficiency, right? As efficient as Kevin Durant is, right? It's like people talk, people have boiled Kobe's legacy down to his field goal percentage, his true field goal percentage, his effective field goal percentage. Call him a volume scorer, right? And he was a volume scorer. But I'd rather be a volume scorer and win championships being a volume scorer than be somebody who takes 18 to 20, I don't think Durant takes 20 shots ever. How many times is Durant taking 20 shots a night? He probably went like 16, 17 shots a night, you know, and makes 52% of them. But, would he take 35 shots if he had to? Well, I wonder what the most shots Kevin Durant has ever taken is, you know. Um, I don't know. It's just like, the point is that for Houston, if it comes down to it, right, and they go, okay, Kevin, like, Şengün can't do it. Amin can't do it. You're gonna have to be the one to do it. You're gonna have to be the one who puts his team, on your back, you know, um, and goes out there and gets us a win. If Kevin Durant be damned if he does. He's not gonna do it, you know. So yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't have an enemy. He's not a killer, you know. It's a disappointment when you think about it. Like it's kind of ridiculous. um, okay, so I'm gonna transition right here. Uh, I want to talk a little bit about this situation with Matt Leinart. Uh, Matt Leinart said that he Matt Leinart said that basically USC has reached out to him on several occasions and asked him if he'd be willing to unretire his number 11 jersey because recruits would like to wear. And Matt Leinart said absolutely not. He's not going to do that and potentially give his number up to some kid who might transfer, like stuff like that. And it's like, he shouldn't even have to explain himself. It's like, he's Matt Leinart. He's the most successful quarterback in the history of USC football. He went 37-2, won a Heisman Trophy, won 2 national championships, won 34 straight games. I think about it and I go, you know, any team that Liner's intangibles and his leadership, and just how steady he was, it gave the teams he was playing on, it gave him a certain just level of just built-in confidence. It's like Shaq used to say, when the general doesn't panic, then the troops don't panic. The soldiers don't panic. That was Matt Leinart. In addition to throwing 99 touchdown passes in 3 years, right? Um, and I think if you look at some of these teams that have come since then, there's been some talented USC teams, and I feel like all of them would have had a higher ceiling with Matt Leinart as their quarterback. Just like I said, his intangibles and his leadership and how steady he was. So with what he did, there's no reason that how would anybody ever wear number 11 for USC again? It's really disrespectful for them to even ask. You know, um, and I wonder if they asked Reggie if somebody can wear number 5. Uh, I'm not sure. Did they put his jersey up in the Coliseum yet? I forget. You know, they asked Carson if somebody can wear number 3. You know, um, so yeah, respect the legends, USC. Okay, Matt Leinart has always been so fight on. So why would you keep asking him if somebody can wear his number? It's just not right. Don't do it. Don't do it anymore. I don't want to hear about it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to. I'm gonna bounce back to basketball here. I wanted to correct myself on something that I said um, in the a recent episode when I was talking about Darius Acuff Jr. Right, and the best comparison that I could come up with was Darius Garland. I said he was like Darius Garland with a higher motor, which is like I mean That's not my best work, right? Darius Garland is a really a good NBA player, really good NBA player, but somebody who doesn't have the type of you know it's like Darius Garland is he does not dare to be great, right? He plays it safe, you know. This kid Acuff Jr. If what we've seen in colleges from him in colleges any indication, and to be fair, to myself, I did say I think he'd be basically like a rich man's Darius Garland, like a Darius Garland with a higher motor. But really, to compare this kid to Darius Garland is like an insult to Darius Acuff Jr. And I saw some people compare him to Allen Iverson. I can see that, but he's bigger than Iverson. Iverson was 6 foot, 165 pounds. Acuff Jr. was 6'3". He's 6'3", 180, so really solid. Uh, and so what I was able to come up with is, and I don't know, at the time I thought that I was like being original when I said this, but then I heard Rich Paul say it on Mind the Game. But Darius Acuff Jr. is a dead ringer for Stephon Marbury. Similar size, similar body type, similar builds, similar games. But I think the thing about Acuff Jr., similar athletes. Remember Marbury when he was younger, he had boosties. He dunk on you. Now I think the thing that makes Acuff you know not necessarily more talented. Stephon Marbury was a very good NBA player. He was like 20 points and 8 assists for his career. I think by age like 31, he was pretty much done. So, it kind of like he didn't play till he was 35, 36, 37. See his averages, naturally decline. But, yeah, Marbury was a fantastic player. Marbury's problem was he didn't really understand how to play the point guard position, right? Marbury was a very talented player. He has as much talent as anybody I think that has played the point guard position in the NBA. But he didn't really know how to. The way you're supposed to play the point guard position is you're supposed to know when to score. Your first priority should be setting up your teammates, and then you pick your spots to score, and you take over when you need to. You can still get your 20 points a game doing that, but your first priority should be making sure the other guys are involved in the game, right? And Marbury didn't really know how to do that. He would just go out, and he was talented enough to get 20 points, and he had the ball, so he would get the 8 assists, but not in the way of Jason Kidd or Gary Payton or somebody like that who was actually like, a floor general. That's what Marbury was lacking. The basketball IQ to know, okay, well, how can I translate my impact into wins? I think Marbury in his prime, outside of the Minnesota years, I think I learned the playoffs once, and that was 2003 with the Suns. So he didn't really know how to. He was a fabulous basketball player, but he didn't really know how to make his team better. I think this kid Acuff, and it helps that we're playing in an era where if you're a scoring guard, that's the norm, right? But I think Acuff has a bit more of that point guard. I don't want to say point guard. I don't want to say has a point guard, but that awareness, that understanding of like his role as a point guard, and that at the end of the day, if you're not winning games, it doesn't matter. So I think that he'll be somebody who, unlike Marbury, his teams will be good in the NBA. Like something like Keontae George. I don't think Keontae George is as talented as either one of these kids, as Acuff or as talented as Marbury was. But the Jazz sucked. The Jazz sucked on purpose, right? So Keontae George is kind of just like a guy who he puts up numbers, and his team is not good, right? Back in my day, Marbury made a couple All-Star teams doing that, but that's because it wasn't as much talent in the league as there is now. You know, so something like Keontae George today, and also of course, it's like it's easier to put up numbers today than it was back then. But yeah, I just feel like this kid Acup Jr. Um, he's I already said I think he's going to be a franchise player in the NBA. But I just wanted to update my comparison uh, that I had for him uh, because the Garland one was just really not. It honestly just wasn't a good comparison. They really don't. I mean, this kid Acuff has way more game than Garland has. Better athlete, So yeah, I apologize to Darius Acuff, and it won't happen again. Um, BYU was already out, so no more debates. North Carolina lost. People wonder if they lost in the first round. People wonder if that'll be it for Hubert Davis. We'll see. Duke survived a scare against Siena. Hell of a game yesterday between Kentucky and and uh, and Santa Clara, with Kentucky surviving. Um, we just have to see what happens, man. It's March Madness. I can't say I don't see Duke, and not just because of that game, but Duke it's not last year's Duke team. Cameron Boozer, as much as I like him, he's going to be a fantastic, very good player in the NBA. But that Duke, we'll look back and go, how the hell did Duke, with Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple, how did they not complete that run last year? I mean, that was their time to win. You know, this Duke team was not like that Duke team. That Duke team was loaded. This Duke team has Cam Boozer and a bunch of dudes. And I don't think that they. I don't think they're gonna make it. I don't know who is either. Maybe Arkansas will make the run. You know, maybe it'll be one of those years where the best player in the tournament wins the title. You know, we'll just have to see. Kansas won last night. Peterson had 28. So that leaves Peterson, Acuff, and Boozer. I like Acuff the most out of those three. We'll see how far they can go. UConn had some trouble last night against, I forgot who they played. But they survived. Florida, looking like Florida. So maybe can Florida go back to back? Who knows? They did when I was a youngster. Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, man. So before I get out of here, just a reminder to hit that subscribe button next to the Complete Podcast Network, and to follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at TC Pod Network. You can also send feedback and mailback questions to Complete Lakers Podcast at gmail.com. I am out.